in with you again. Who has heard about manifesting? You know what I'm talking about for that? Yeah? Okay, great. I'm going to fondly rename our next speaker. I'm actually going to rename her Alexandra P, the Queen of Manifesting. And I'm going to call her that. Theta Healing, unbeknownst to me previously, is all about manifesting. I'm not going to give the game away. She will tell you all about that. What I really liked about Alexandra, though, you heard of John Asserac, who was on The Secret? Yeah? Okay, so she has worked very closely with John. He described her techniques and theta healing processes as mind-blowing. And she also won a competition which was to who would most use manifesting in their life to the greatest degree of success. And this was an international competition, thousands of others competing in that. And our next speaker was the lady who won that competition. So when it comes to manifesting, I don't think you're going to find a better person to educate you now. I'm personally really excited about this. I've always known, I really believe in manifesting. Actually, a month ago I got married, and I totally manifested my husband. Thank you very much. You should have, it's a bloody miracle. There are some people in this room who know me, who know this was not a thing that was going to happen anyway, right? I'm 38 years of age. It was a bit of an issue for me, and I poured all of my energy and really used some tools. I'm sure Alexandra will talk to you more of these to manifest, and he is absolutely my ideal perfect husband for me. So I'm particularly in love with this discipline right now. So without further ado, I'd like you to put your hands together and give a really warm welcome for the lovely, the gorgeous Alexandra P. Woo!
Hello everyone. It does work. Now I've had to wear my handbag to attach the mic because apparently I came naked. So I'm here today to give you an introduction to Theta Healing. Okay? It's a modality that uses a lot of manifesting inside it. It's also a healing modality where you can change something in your life. And the thing with Theta Healing is that you can learn it and change something that's been bothering you your whole life. And you can change your belief systems within 10 minutes. Okay? So it's a simple, easy modality. So I'll tell you a little bit about my background. Obviously you've heard that I'm into manifesting. I've also been trained as a Reiki master. I've been trained as a psychotherapist, and I'm an intuitive reader, which is why I created my own tarot deck, because I couldn't find anything out there that I liked to work with. Now, I got into Theta Healing because a very respected psychic that I knew came to me and said to me, Alexandra, you've got to do Theta Healing. And I'm like, Catherine, why? And she says, and this is like 3 years ago or so, she says it's going to be the next best thing. And I thought, well, that's good enough for me. I'm always into the next best thing. Right? I'm going to go learn this Theta Healing. So I didn't read up anything about it. I didn't research a thing, because that's how much I trusted and valued this woman. So I go along, and finally there's a course in Brighton where I live. And then so this really sweet Theta Healing teacher. All the Theta Healing teachers are really quite sweet. I'm not sure why. I think they spend a lot of time in unconditional love, which we're going to teach you how to get to today. And we went to this course, and and alongside the process of the course, the basic course, she said, you know, you can change anything in your life. So I thought I'd try something physical. Because that was something that I really didn't have confidence in changing, something physical, in terms of an illness. I suffered with a disease. It wasn't life-threatening or anything, but it was disturbing. So I had a polycystic system. So my body produced cysts all over the place. So in one of the days of the basic course, I started making the command to change this in the highest and best way, and I forgot all about it. 6 months later, because it takes 6 months on the NHS, right? 6 months! So 6 months later, I'm due for a scan because I had this like humongous cyst on one of my ovaries, and the other ovary, you know, had like hundreds of little cysts. So I'm queuing up with all the other sad women who've waited 6 months for this scan. And I finally go in, and we've drunk like litres of water. I mean, you know these women, you know this. You ever had an ultrasound? You ever had one? It's nasty, isn't it? Because your bladder's completely... Anyway, so I lie there, and she's like, and she says, oh, Miss Brown, you can go now. And I, what do you mean I can go now? She goes, there's nothing there. I said, what do you mean there's nothing there? There's got to be something there. She says, no, there's nothing there. So I said, what about all my cysts? She said, you haven't got any. So I said to her, show me. Because I've forgotten all about the basic course, you see, because I've gone along to Theta Healing, thinking I've gone along because it's the next best thing. You know how you kind of think you're going to do something, or your ego has a way of telling you to do something, and really it's going to go far deeper than that? So she shows me the screen, and she's like, and I'm like, what's wrong with your screen? And this is a healer. What's wrong with your screen? And she's like, there's nothing wrong with your screen, there has to be some mistake, you couldn't have these cysts, they're not here, there's no scar tissue, they're all gone, it's your mistake. I'm like, no, it's not my mistake, it's your doctor's mistake, because I've had to have a blood test over this cyst, because they wanted to cut it out, because they couldn't tell if it was dangerous. So that was one of the benefits I got from doing the basic course, which was really unexpected, because as I said, I'd gone into it just totally for the manifesting and the emotional well-being, and also to connect with the highest energy of all that is. So some people call it God, some people call it Goddess, some people call it the creative force. I had one of my first teachers called it the incomprehensible collective mind. So we used to call it the ICN. That's when we were really logical and scientific. Do you remember when we were all just really logically based, scientific people, and we didn't believe in anything? Well, I remember. Well, it's very British. you know what we did with the church? We just took it and had the church people. So we didn't do like religion and spirituality, really. Okay, so that's my story, and that's what got me into speaking. Many other things in my life changed my relationships with my family, which I thought I would never heal. I think we're a very dysfunctional family. Well, most people do. But there were lots of things going on, lots of dramas in the family, and this really helped me deal with it. I changed my relationship to men. So women who are looking for your soulmate, you can do it. I've changed my relationship to God and to life. And I'm actually teaching Theta Healing because I'm really, really passionate about it. I think everybody should learn how to do it. You know, if you change one thing in your life, it's still going to affect you and affect your friends and your family. Okay? So Theta Healing was developed by a woman called Diana Steigel. She had an illness in her femur, in the bone, and it started shrinking, the bone was shrinking. So she was given a prognosis, okay, that this was cancer. She had a prognosis from 2 doctors, it's written, she's got the documents. One of them thought it was leukemia and the other one thought it was bone cancer, so they differed on the opinions. And one of them suggested that there was no way to heal this at the stage it was at, and that she should have a leg amputation. So she went up and she did the Theta meditation, which I'm going to teach you today. And she went up and she connected, and she was shown a healing method, which she started using on all her friends and family. Okay? She lives in a little place in Idaho, in the middle of nowhere, and she started giving these healings to people, and they started getting better. And then her friend, Katie, said to her, why don't you do it on yourself? What do? You know that belief that you can heal, it's easier to heal someone else than yourself? That's actually not true. So she started using it on herself, and she went into spontaneous remission. And then she decided that this technique needs to be shared with the world. And so far, she's done a pretty good job of it. She's trained us instructors, she's become a bestseller, her books are on the best-selling list from Hay House. So I'm here to give you a bit of a taste of Theta Healing so you can figure out what you can use it for in your life. Okay? So So I'm going to tell you a little bit about the brainwaves, and I have got it in notes, because I'm not very scientifically based, but for those of you that are, here we go. A beta frequency is the cycle you're using at normal times. Okay, so right now you're in beta. Your brain's cycling between 14 to 28 cycles per second. Alpha is the frequency you use the most when you're relaxed and in a kind of meditative frame of mind. Your brainwaves cycle 7 to 14 cycles per second. Delta is a state of mind found whilst you're in deep sleep. This is a state of mind that allows you to know who's calling when the phone rings. The delta state of mind is 0 to 4 cycles per second, and then you have gamma. The gamma state of mind is the state we're in when we learn and process information very rapidly. Gamma waves stimulate the release of beta endorphins. Gamma waves appear to be involved in higher mental activity, including perception and consciousness. Your brainwave cycles between 40 cycles a second. Now, theta brainwave pattern, you used to believe that you couldn't get into a theta brainwave pattern unless you were in deep hypnosis or asleep. Okay? But they've discovered that you can actually do it at will, which is what we're going to teach you today. So there's a very, very relaxed brainwave pattern, but it's also the brainwave pattern that a hypnotherapist will use with you if they're healing or changing something in you. So any of you who've been to a hypnotherapist over a phobia or something like that, that's what they're using. That's what that brainwave pattern. So you're going to feel your energy levels change in the room as I take you up to experience Theta Healing and this brainwave pattern. The cycle's 4 to 7 cycles per second. What's interesting about the Theta brainwave pattern is it allows your brain to connect not only with your subconscious mind, but also with the intelligence of all that is, or creator of all that is, or the energy of all that is, or whatever you want to call it. So you will find that you start getting rapid information coming in at the same time as you're feeling really, 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 really relaxed. So it's a really interesting energy to work with. I'm going to say a little bit about what's happened since I've been teaching Theta Healing and what's kept me teaching it, apart from the fact that I love it and you can use it for any area of your life, because you're going to find out that some things in your life are working perfectly and brilliantly, it's almost on a genius level, and other things, there's like one thing that just keeps happening, or it's just bugging you, or you haven't quite got to the level you want. That could be abundance, relationships to others, your relationship to life, or even troubles that you have with money or abundance. Okay, those are just like the simple ones. But what's really interesting for me about teaching these courses is that the students that come along are beautiful people. And I'm not joking. These people open my heart even more. They're sweet, they're intelligent, they're kind. So Theta Healing tends to attract people, those kind of people. If you have questions, did you ever have any time in your life where you questioned if you were on the right planet? Or, very similar question, I'm on the right planet, but these people are really screwed up.